Welcome back everybody, I'm Jaran Faber, your host, and today I'm going to react to a video called You'll Never Look at BraveStarr the Same Way Again. Now for new updates and content you can visit the links in the description down below, and let's get started. Enjoy.
You remember BraveStarr, the Native American space marshal, the talking cyborg horse. The animal spirit powers shouted like a battle cry on weekday afternoons. It felt like just another bold 80s cartoon. But here's what almost nobody remembers. One episode showed a child getting addicted to drugs, and then dying. Not metaphorically, not learning a lesson, dying. That aired on television, for kids. And somehow, that wasn't a mistake. It was a warning. Because BraveStarr wasn't just a cartoon trying something risky. It was a studio fighting for its life. This was Filmation's final stand, the last series ever produced by a company that once ruled Saturday morning television. A show made with ambition that was too big, too expensive, and too honest to survive the industry it was released into. While other studios quietly shipped their work overseas, Filmation doubled down. American animators, American wages, American production. And they bet everything on one last idea. A space western, a spiritually grounded hero, a children's show that refused to talk down to its audience. For a brief moment, it worked, and then it collapsed. This is the story of how BraveStarr rose as one of the most daring animated series of the 1980s, how it fell almost immediately after, and how it took an entire animation studio with it. This isn't just the fall of a cartoon, it's the last gunfight of Filmation.
Who's this man with the spoons? He look familiar.
Who? The Rise. The Origin, a studio's last gamble. By 1987, Filmation wasn't just another animation studio, it was a holdout. While the rest of the industry quietly shipped its work overseas, cutting costs, cutting corners, Filmation refused. Every frame was drawn on American soil, American animators, American wages, American pride. It was noble, and it was bleeding them dry. Filmation didn't just need a success, it needed a miracle. Something bold enough to stand out in a crowded cartoon battlefield. Something no other studio would even attempt, because no other studio could afford to. That's when BraveStarr was born. Not as a safe idea, but as a swing-for-the-fences gamble. Take the classic American Western and launch it into space. Make the hero a Native American marshal, not a stereotype, but a spiritually grounded lawman. Set it all on a frontier planet called New Texas. It sounded less like a pitch and more like a dare. At the center was Marshal BraveStarr, a galactic peacekeeper facing Stampede and the Carrion Bunch. His abilities weren't gadgets or super science, but animal spirits. Eyes of the hawk, ears of the wolf, strength of the bear, speed of the puma. He was guided by Shaman, a mentor rooted in ancient wisdom. He rode into battle atop 3030, a talking cyborg horse armed with a rifle named Sarah Jane. On paper, it was absurd. On screen, it was unlike anything else on television.
Oh, no, you wouldn't know him. That's Jingles Morgan.
The breakthrough? When Saturday morning got serious. BraveStarr didn't just entertain, it educated. And not in the preachy, eye-rolling way most 80s cartoons attempted. The show tackled subjects other cartoons wouldn't touch with a 10-foot laser sword. We'll get to that drug episode, trust me, we're getting there. But the writing treated kids like intelligent viewers who could handle complex themes. The multicultural desert planet of New Texas featured diverse characters without making diversity the punchline. Indigenous culture wasn't stereotyped or simplified. The hero's spirituality was portrayed with respect, woven naturally into his character rather than reduced to a gimmick. This was like G.I. Joe deciding to actually explore the psychological trauma of combat. Nobody expected depth from syndicated animation. BraveStarr delivered it anyway. The show produced 65 episodes, the magic number for syndication packages. That meant 5 days a week of new adventures, flooding the afternoon airwaves with space western action.
He was my commander at the Marshals Academy. The best in the galaxy.
The peak, merchandise and movies. Mattel backed the property with a full toy line. Action figures, vehicles, playsets, the complete 80s merchandising playbook. BraveStarr himself, 3030, Tex Hex, the whole Rogues Gallery transformed into plastic. The franchise even spawned a theatrical film. BraveStarr, the Legend, hit theaters in 1988, serving as an origin story for the Marshal and his mission. A cartoon series getting a theatrical release? That was reserved for properties with serious momentum. For a brief, shining moment, BraveStarr stood alongside He-Man and Transformers as the next big thing. The formula seemed bulletproof. Great animation, compelling hero, merchandise pipeline flowing. But remember that theatrical film? The timing of its release tells a darker story, one we need to examine closely.
Trooper Bliss is supposed to be the best fighter in the Imperial Guard.
The fall. The turning point. A studio already dying. Here's what the toy commercials didn't mention. By the time BraveStarr premiered, Filmation was already in trouble. Deep trouble. The company had built its reputation on keeping animation jobs in America. Noble mission. Terrible economics. Overseas studios could produce the same content for a fraction of the cost. Every competitor was shipping work to Japan, Korea, Taiwan. Filmation refused to compromise. They paid American wages, maintained American facilities, kept American animators employed. The math simply didn't work anymore. BraveStarr wasn't just a creative project. It was a Hail Mary pass from a studio watching its business model collapse in real time. The show needed to be a massive hit, not just a regular hit, massive enough to justify domestic production costs when everyone else had abandoned them. That's an impossible weight for any cartoon to carry, even a great one.
Tex Hex. I don't frighten easily.
The Cascade. Syndication saturation. The late 1980s had transformed into a cartoon battlefield. G.I. Joe, Transformers, Thundercats, He-Man. The toy-driven animation market was absolutely flooded. Every company wanted their own BraveStarr, their own He-Man, their own Optimus Prime. Airwaves overflowed with competing properties. Kids only had so many hours between school and bedtime. Parents only had so many toy dollars. Attention fragmented across dozens of colorful universes demanding loyalty. BraveStarr was like a new restaurant opening in a food court that already had 15 other options. Quality mattered less than visibility. And visibility required marketing budgets that a struggling studio couldn't afford. The series premiered well. Audiences responded to the unique premise. But responded well wasn't enough anymore. The show needed to dominate. It merely performed.
BraveStarr?
That's right, the best marshal in the galaxy.
The darkest episode, when cartoons got too real. Now we need to talk about The Price, episode 26, the one that still shocks people who stumble across it decades later. A young boy gets addicted to a drug called spin. This wasn't metaphorical, this wasn't implied. The episode showed a kid becoming dependent on a fictional narcotic and dying from an overdose. A child character died on a Saturday morning cartoon from drug abuse in 1987. Let that sink in for a moment. This aired on television for children. The episode treated the subject with brutal honesty. No magic reset button. No, he learned his lesson and everything's fine. Consequences were permanent and devastating. The moral lesson landed like a sledgehammer because the show committed to it completely. Was this brave? Absolutely. Was this the kind of content that made nervous advertisers and network executives uncomfortable? Also absolutely. BraveStarr walked a line between respecting young audiences and terrifying the adults who wrote the checks. That tension couldn't last forever.
Man, you know how stupid you sound?
Oh, torch out.
The final episode, Inner Strength. Strength of the Bear served as the series finale, episode 65. But calling it a finale feels generous. BraveStarr loses his animal spirit powers. Shaman sends him into the wilderness alone and unarmed to face a trial of courage. He reconnects with his abilities through personal struggle. The episode ends with Shaman teaching him that his most important powers come from within himself. It's a solid character episode, meaningful themes about inner strength, good message for kids. But a finale? Stampede wasn't defeated. Tex Hex remained at large. New Texas faced the same threats it always had. Nothing concluded, nothing resolved. The show simply stopped, like a book missing its final chapter, like a song fading out before the chorus. This wasn't creative choice. This was a studio running out of time and money. Filmation ended production, and BraveStarr ended with it, not with a bang, but with a quiet character study that happened to be the last episode completed.
Is it that troubles you? Perhaps I can help.
I can't.
The final blow, a studio's last breath. BraveStarr holds a melancholy distinction. It was the final animated series Filmation ever produced. The company that brought American kids He-Man and the Masters of the Universe, Fat Albert, She-Ra, and countless other properties simply ceased to exist. L'Oreal, the cosmetics company that owned Filmation, shuttered the studio, insert specific closure date needed. The theatrical film BraveStarr, The Legend, released after the studio had already closed its doors. A ghost promoting a finished story from a dead company. The timing was brutal irony, marketing a franchise from a studio that no longer existed to continue it. Domestic American animation took a significant blow that day. Filmation's insistence on keeping jobs stateside died with them. The industry had spoken. Cheaper was better, regardless of where cheaper was located on a map.
Thank you. You're a real friend. I'll pay you back. I promise.
The aftermath, buried in the vault. BraveStarr didn't get revivals, no reboots, no Netflix resurrections, no nostalgic theatrical comebacks. The property exists in a legal limbo that affects many Filmation series. Rights questions, ownership complications, the typical graveyard of 80s intellectual property. While He-Man found new life through multiple revival attempts, his space western cousin remained in the vault. Occasional DVD releases surfaced. Streaming platforms picked it up, dropped it, picked it up again. The show exists if you look for it, but nobody's actively promoting Marshall BraveStarr to new generations. For those who remember, BraveStarr represents something unique, a show that treated kids as capable of handling real themes, a hero who combined genres in ways nobody had attempted, a studio's final, defiant creative statement before the economics of animation crushed them. The 65 episodes remain. The movie remains. The memories of Saturday mornings with a space cowboy who had the strength of the bear remain. But the true ending, the one where heroes definitively triumph and villains face justice, that ending was never written, never animated, never aired. New Texas is still out there, frozen in 1987, waiting for a Marshall who completed his journey but never finished his story.
I never knew that.
BraveStarr rose as Filmation's boldest experiment, a spiritually grounded Native American hero in a space western universe that dared to show a child dying from drugs on Saturday morning television. It fell when its parent studio couldn't survive the economic realities of domestic animation, leaving the series without resolution and a theatrical film promoting a dead company's final work. The show reminds us that quality doesn't guarantee survival, that doing things the right way doesn't mean you'll stick around to enjoy the rewards, that sometimes the best creative work comes from people who know they're running out of time. Which part hits you hardest? The unfinished story? The drug episode? The studio that died making this? Drop your thoughts in the comments. If this trip to New Texas brought back memories, hit that subscribe button. We've got more stories from the vault coming your way. Until next time, remember, eyes of the hawk, ears of the wolf, strength of the bear, speed of the puma, and the most important power, the one deep within yourself. Marshall out.
So that was You'll Never Look at BraveStarr the Same Way Again. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I never knew about that episode where the kid died from a drug overdose. Goodness me, that is a very controversial subject. And children had to watch that episode. Whew, I never knew this. Also, the movie, the interesting facts that has been explained about it is very interesting. And the fact that Filmation was depending on BraveStarr to be the last hit, seeing that they were going through financial trouble. I cannot even imagine what they had to go through. I like that saying, eyes of a hawk, ears of a wolf, strength of a bear, speed of a puma. Seriously, that is fantastic. And a word of wisdom for today. If you believe in yourself, you will become unstoppable. Have a blessed day further, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.